A very good morning to all my dear students. So today for 11th standard I am dealing with chapter number 4, Albert Einstein at school. Albert Einstein, a well-known name. You all might have heard this name in your daily life also. You might have studied about this great-minded person. So what kind of school life he was having? What kind of student he was? Many of you might want to know that was he a brilliant since childhood? So what hardship he has to face and how he used to study in the class. So all these things, there are some questions in the mind. So all the answers are here in this chapter about the school life of Albert Einstein. So this was a chapter in your ninth standard also, a truly beautiful mind, if any of you remember it. So there also we are having slight idea about Albert Einstein's school life. So here we are having that in detail. So this chapter is written by Patrick Pringle. Fine. So Albert Einstein at school, it means the time when Albert Einstein was in school, that is described what kind of life he was living there and what kind of student he was. So let's start this chapter. Albert Einstein, 1879 to 1955, is regarded as the greatest physicist since Newton. In the following extract from the young Einstein, the well-known biographer Patrick Pringle described the circumstances which led to Albert Einstein's expulsion from a German school. Very important. See, a brilliant scientist, he was expelled from the school. So he was studying in a German school and he was thrown out of the school literally. So just see, imagine what he has done there and why he was not interested to study and what kind of arguments he used to have with his teachers. So all this chapter is really very interesting, and you'll find the Einstein's theory of education. Please mark my words, Einstein's theory of education. So let's start. In what year, Einstein, asked the history teacher, did the Persian defeat the French at Waterloo? So the chapter begins with the conversation between history teacher and Einstein. So the chapter begins with the idea that the history teacher is asking something from Albert Einstein and he expects a correct answer from him. So what is the question? The question is, in what year, Einstein, asked the history teacher, did the Prussian defeat the French in Waterloo? So he is asking about the date of Waterloo. I don't know, sir. Why don't you know? You have been told it often enough. This is the very common answer by the teachers, that how many times I have discussed in the class. Why you don't know about this? I must have forgotten. Now see, student, how casually he is replying to a teacher is really unbearable. So obviously he will be thrown out of the school only. So he answers, I must have forgotten. Did you ever try to learn? Asked Mr. Braun. So Mr. Braun is the name of the history teacher, and what he is saying, did you ever try to learn? No, sir. Oh my god, straightforward answer. What he is saying, no, sir. Albert replied with his usual unthinking honesty. So with honesty and very frankly, he said to his teacher, no, sir, I didn't try to learn. Why not? I can't see any point in learning dates. One can always look them up in a book. Look, students, as he was a great scientist, so you can say that his mind was very much scientific. So what he is saying, he is explaining, sir, I didn't learn it. Then the teacher asked, why? Because we can see dates from books. So what is the need to learn those dates? So many of you might also doesn't like essays or doesn't like learning these dates. So same the Einstein was having in his mind. Mr. Braun was speechless for a few moments. Now Mr. Braun, who was a history teacher of Albert Einstein, he was speechless. What to say to a student who is so frankly, so open-mindedly answering him back? You amaze me, Einstein, he said at last. Don't you realize that one can always look most things up in books? That applies to all the facts you learn at school. So, history teacher is saying, then if you are saying that you can see history dates in books, then anything can be seen in the books. So, what is the purpose of education? Yes, sir. He agreed. Then I suppose you don't see any point in learning facts. Frankly, sir, I don't, said Albert. Then you don't believe in education at all? Oh, yes, sir, I do. I don't think learning facts is education. Now, see the presence of mind of Albert Einstein very openly, very confidently. He is just arguing with his teacher, and what he is saying, sir, I don't think that learning fact is education. Now, Mr. Braun is a little angry, and what he's saying, in that case, said the history teacher with heavy sarcasm is taunting. Perhaps you will be so kind as to tell the class the Einstein's theory of education. So, history teacher is saying, we will be very glad if you share your great scientific approach to us. The whole class will be very happy if you show this kindness to us. Albert flushed. Now Albert is very happy. Just imagine if this happens in your class, you will feel embarrassed and you will say, no, 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 ma'am, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. But Albert was happy and he started. He said, I think it's not facts that matter, but ideas. So Albert Einstein is saying that according to me, ideas matter. He said, I don't see the point in learning the dates of battles or even which of the armies killed more men. I would be more interested in learning why those soldiers were trying to kill each other. So, from these lines, you can understand the mindset of Albert Einstein. He was not interested that how many people were killed in the battle, but he was interested, he is interested to know that why they were trying to kill each other. So, you understood the idea. Now, see, that's enough. Mr. Braun's eyes were cold and cruel. Now, Mr. Braun, who was just fed up of continuous argument that his student was making with him, now he was very cold, very rude, and he was very cruel. We don't want a lecture from you, Einstein. You will stay in for an extra period today, although I don't imagine it will do you much good. It won't do the school any good either. You are a disgrace. I don't know why you continue to come. Now, teacher is very angry and he has punished Einstein for one extra period. One extra period is really a torture for him because he can't tolerate that subject or that teacher even for one lecture, and he has been punished for one extra period. So you can imagine that it was really a punishment. So Mr. Braun added that though it won't give you any profit and neither to the school, and you are really a disgrace, a embarrassment for school because you are so dull, so weak in studies, and I don't know why you just come to school. Why don't you just left the school? Now Albert replied, it's not my wish, sir. Albert pointed out. Oh my god, again one more answer back. He's saying, sir, I don't come here by my own wish. I have to come because of family pressure. So obviously Mr. Braun will be very angry if a student continuously reverse back. Then you are an ungrateful boy and ought to be ashamed of yourself. I suggest you ask your father to take you away. So Mr. Braun is saying, I suggest you go and tell your father that you are not interested in studies and he should take you out of the school. Why do you come in the school? Albert felt miserable when he left school that afternoon. This question can be raised, student. Please listen carefully. So that afternoon, he felt miserable. He was very sad because he was having one extra period of history also as a punishment. Not that it had been a bad day. The reason of his sadness was not that that day was bad. Most days were bad now. This was his daily routine that always he have clash with his teacher. Anyway, but he had to go back to the hateful place the next morning. The reason of his sadness was that he had to go back again to the school next morning, and that place was a hateful place for him. He only wished his father would take him away, but there was no point in even asking. So he knew his father very well. If he asked his father that I don't want to study here, please take me back, then his father will not agree. So there is no point of asking. He knew what the answer would be. He would have to stay until he had taken his diploma. So it was a bitter truth that Albert Einstein has to study in that school until he finished his diploma. So this is the problem. This is the reason of sadness of Albert Einstein, that he considered that school as a hateful place and his father will not take him from there. So that's why he was very disappointed. Going back to his lodgings means small rented house, didn't cheer him up. He was sad, he was disturbed because he was not able to cope up with the school environment. His father had so little money to spare that Albert had been found a room in one of the poorest quarters of Munich. Now, see, student, this H is silent here. Munich is a name of a city in Germany, and his father was not that much rich, so he was able to take a rented house on the poorest quarters. It means the locality was not so good, and somehow he was surviving. He didn't mind the bad food and lack of comfort, or even the dirt and squalor. So problem was not that the area food was bad there and lack of comfortable. It means the streets were not nice, proper light was not there. So all these things didn't matter. What was the reason of his disturbance there? But he hated the atmosphere of slum violence. Slum violence, the rowdies, the people used to fight with each other, someone is shooting to other, the bullying and all that. This slum violence was disturbing him the lot. His landlady beat her children regularly. So he was having one landlady and she used to beat her children regularly, and every Saturday her husband came drunk and beat her. Very interesting. So this violence he was not liking at all. He wanted only solitude, only peace. But at least you have a room of your own, which is more than I can say, said Yuri when he called around in the evening. Now students, one more character in the chapter, Yuri. Yuri is Albert Einstein's best friend, and on that day when he was feeling very miserable, he called in the evening to his friend Yuri to share what he felt. Fine. Then Yuri replied, but at least you have a room of your own. So Yuri कहते, be happy, though there is slum violence there, but at least you are having your room, which is more than I can say. At least you live among civilized human beings, even if they are all poor students, said Albert. Now, Albert is talking with his friend Yuri on a phone call, and Albert is replying, at least, Yuri, you are living in a civilized human beings. Although they are poor, but at least they are civilized. They are not all civilized, Yuri replied. Now, Yuri said, oh, you are mistaken. The place where I am living, all are not civilized. Didn't you hear that one of them was killed last week in a duel? Now see student, duel, D-U-E-L. D-U-E-L, duel is fight, and if it is A, then it is double. Now this duel is fight. So he's saying, oh, you have mistaken, I am not living among civilized people. Didn't you hear that last week in a fight, one was killed? And what happens to the one who killed him? Now Albert Einstein asked, then what happened with the murderer? Nothing, of course. He is even proud of it. His only worry is that the authorities have told him not to fight any more duels. So he's saying, here duel we can say that wrestling, boxing or something like that. So he's saying nothing happened with that, but he was sad that now he can't fight more. He's upset about this because he hasn't a single scar on his face to wear for the rest of his life as a badge of honor. Oh my god. Okay, you are saying that I am living in civilized society. See the condition. He is upset not because of him one person is dead, but because he is not having any scar of that fight, and so that he can consider that as a badge of honor. Oh, exclaimed Albert. And these are students? Oh my god, these are the students? How well, you will be a student one day, said Yuri. Now Yuri is saying, oh well, you will be also a good student one day. I doubt it, said Albert glumly, sadly. Now Albert is saying, I'm not sure, I doubt it. I don't think I'll ever pass the exams for the school diploma. My condition is so poor that I don't think that I'll just clear the diploma. He held his cousin Elsa, the same next The same next time she came to Munich, normally she lived in Berlin where her father had a business. Now the conversation with Yuri is over, and now Albert Einstein's cousin Elsa, she came to Munich to meet her, and she generally live in Berlin. Berlin is also name of another place in Germany. So she used to live in Berlin where her father had a business, and she came to Munich to meet Albert Einstein. Now she is saying, I'm sure you could learn enough to pass the exam, Albert, if you tried. So she is also giving him the lecture, and what she is saying, Albert, I know if you try, then you can pass the exam. I know lots of boys who are much more stupid than you are who get through. So she is saying, I know many stupid boys, those are stupid more than you. They also passed, so you can also. They say you don't have to know anything, you don't have to understand what you are taught, just be able to repeat in the exams. Now, see what kind of advice Elsa is giving to Albert Einstein. She is saying that just cram it, na? Why you are trying to understand? Just cram and repeat in the exam. Many of you are also doing in your exam. You don't understand what has been taught to you. You just cram it up, mug it up, and you just write in the exam, but that is not at all beneficial. So same advice Elsa is giving to Albert Einstein. Just imagine if Albert is also having the also had this approach to mug up the things, to cram the things, he can't be a good scientist or a great scientist as he is now. So Elsa gave this advice. That's the whole trouble, said Albert. I'm no good at learning things by heart. Learning things by heart means cramming. Now Albert is saying, this is the problem now, that I can't learn the things. You don't need to be good at it. Anyone can learn like a parrot. You just don't try. And yet I always see you with a book under your arms, added Elsa. What is the one you are reading? So Elsa is saying, no, anybody can cram. You just don't try. And anyways, Albert Einstein, I always see one book under your book under your arms. What is this about? A book on geology, that geography, the subject, as a subject. So Albert Einstein was having one book on geology. Geology, rocks and things, do you learn that? Now Elsa is saying, geology in which we study rocks and materials, do you learn that? No, we have hardly any science at school. Now Albert Einstein is saying to Elsa, sorry, we are not having any scientific study, any science in our school, we are having only history. Then why are you studying it? Because I like it. Isn't that a good enough reason? Now Albert Einstein is saying, because I love reading science books. Isn't that a good reason? Why can't I read the subject which are not taught to me? Elsa sighed. Elsa said, oh, you are right, of course, Albert, she said, but it won't help with your diploma. Now Elsa is saying that it's okay, Albert, you can study anything you like, but this will not help you to get your diploma, to pass your exams. Then why you are wasting your time in this book? Apart from books on science, his only comfort was music. This is another talent that the writer is telling us about Albert Einstein, that apart from on science, books on science, only science, his only comfort was music. He was interested in music, and he played his violin regularly until his landlady asked him to stop it. So he used to play his violin regularly, continuously, until landlady come to him and ask him to stop. And what she used to say, that wailing gets on my nerves, headache. So that wailing, that hard sound, that is disturbing me. There's enough noise in the house with all the kids howling, making noise. So she's saying, already we are having a lot of noise of kids in our house, so we don't need your this stupid violence sound. So please stop it. This is getting on my nerves. This is giving me a headache. Albert was tempted to point out that most of time it was she who made them howl. When she said this to Albert Einstein, he wanted to say the landlady that the children make noise only because of you. but he decided it was better to say nothing. But somehow he controlled himself and he decided not to say anything to the landlady. It will not be good. I must get away from here, he told Yuri after 6 months alone in Munich. So he has spent almost 6 months in that hateful place, in that city, Munich, and that German school. But now he's saying to Yuri, I must get out from here. I can't tolerate this situation. I can't live here. I must get out from here. It is absurd that I should go on like this. In the end, it will turn out I have been wasting my father's money and everyone's time. It will be better for all if I stop now. Now, Albert Einstein is saying to his friend that I'm doing nothing here. I'm just wasting my time and my father's money. I will not make up. I can't tolerate the school system. I can't study history. So, I think I should go from here. And then what will you do? Yuri asked. Yuri said, okay, fine. But if you'll not complete your diploma, you're left in the middle, in the mid, then what will you do? I don't know. I go to Milan. Milan is again one more city. I'm afraid my father will send me back. So he's saying, I don't know, Yuri. If I go to my father, Milan, then he will send me back. He will say, go and complete your diploma first. His eyes gleamed with a sudden idea. All of a sudden, one destructive idea came in Albert Einstein's mind, and he asked, Yuri, do you know any friendly doctors? Yuri, do you know any doctor who is your friend? I know a lot of medical students and some of them are friendly, said Yuri. Doctor, no, I have never had enough money to go to one. Why? So Yuri is saying that though I know many medical student means those are pursuing MBBS or pursuing this medical science study, but I don't know any doctor because I am not having that much money and I never went there. Suppose, said Albert. Now, say, student, what is the idea in Albert Einstein's mind? He's saying, suppose that I had a nervous breakdown. Suppose a doctor would say it's bad for me to go to school and I need to get right away from it. So Albert Einstein is saying, suppose I am having one nervous breakdown and doctor himself warns me, don't go to school. It means he needed a false medical certificate. Now see, student, what happened later? I can't imagine a doctor saying that, said Yuri. I must try, said Albert, to find a doctor who specializes in nerves. So he's saying, I will make it, you just find a doctor who is specialized in neurology. There are plenty of them, Yuri told him. He hesitated for a moment and then added, rather recurrently, I'll ask some of the students if they know one, if you like. So Yuri agreed. He said, okay, I'll try my best to do something. Will you? Oh, thank you, Yuri. Albert's eyes were shining. Wait a moment, I haven't found one yet. Albert was so happy that he was saying, oh, thank you so much, Yuri. Then Yuri said, Arey, wait, I haven't found one yet. Oh, but you will. And if I do, I don't know if he'll be willing to help you. He will, declared Albert. Oh, no problem, he will. I'm going to have a real nervous breakdown to make it easier for him. He laughed merrily, happily. So he's saying, I'll be so natural in acting that the doctor will surely write that I'm having nervous breakdown. Nervous breakdown, we can say that depression. I have never seen you looking less nervous, remarked Yuri. A day or two at school will soon put that right, Albert assured him. Now Yuri is saying that I have never seen you in depression. Then Albert's like, oh, if I spend 1-2 days in the school, surely I will have because I hate that place. Certainly he had lost his high spirits when Yuri saw him next. I can't stand it any longer, he said. I really shall have a nervous breakdown that will satisfy any doctor. Keep it up then, said Yuri. I have found a doctor for you. So now Yuri, as promised to Albert Einstein, found a doctor. You have? Albert's face lit up. Oh God, when can I see him? I have an appointment for you tomorrow evening. Yuri said, here is the address. He handed Albert a piece of paper on which address was written. Dr. Ernest Well, this is the name of the doctor, Ernest Well. He's a specialist in nervous troubles, asked Albert. So Albert is saying, is he a specialist in nervous troubles? Not exactly. As a matter of fact, he only qualified as a doctor last week. You may even be his first patient. So, newly made doctor, Dr. Ernest Will. You knew him as a student then? I have known Ernest for years. Yuri hesitated for a few moments. He is not a fool, he warned Albert. So now he warned Albert Einstein that he is not a fool. What do you mean? Don't try to pull the wool over his eyes. Pull the wool over his eyes means to befool him. That's all. Be frank with him, but don't pretend you have got what you haven't. Not that you would deceive anyone, Yuri added. You are the world's worst liar. So he was his good friend. So he said, please don't try to show what you are not having because you are the world's worst liar. Just go to the doctor and said it frankly. Albert spent the next day wondering what to tell the doctor. When the time arrived for his appointment, he had worried over it so much that he really was quite nervous. So he was really had quite nervous because he thought about that so much. What will I say to the doctor? How will I behave? What will I do? That he really became nervous. I don't really know how to describe my trouble, Dr. Vale, he began. Now he's sitting with the doctor. Don't try, said the young doctor with a friendly smile. Yuri has already given me a history of the case. History of the case means Yuri had told me everything about you. Oh, what did he say? Only that you want me to think you have had a nervous breakdown and say that you must not go back to the school. So this was the real thing that Yuri told the doctor. Oh dear, Albert's face fell. He shouldn't have told you that. Why not? Isn't it true? Yes, that's the trouble. Now you'll say there's nothing wrong with me and you'll tell me to go back to school. Now, Albert Einstein thought that the doctor will say you are not having any problem and you should go back to school. Don't be too sure of that, said the doctor. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you are in a nervous state about the school. Now, doctor is saying, as a doctor, though you are not realizing, but really you are in nervous state. Don't be too sure. Sorry. But I haven't told you anything about it, said Albert, wide-eyed. How can you know that? So Albert Einstein is saying that how you know all these things? I haven't told you anything. Because you wouldn't have come to see me about this if you hadn't been pretty close to a nervous breakdown. That's why now, said the doctor briskly, fastly. If I certify that you have had a nervous breakdown and must stay away from school for a while, what will you do? Now the doctor is asking, if I give you a false medical certificate, what will you do? I'll go to Italy, said Albert, to Milan where my parents are. And what will you do there? I'll try to get into an Italian college or institute. How can you without a diploma? The doctor is saying, without a diploma, how can you take admission in the college? I'll ask my mathematics teacher to give me something about my works and perhaps that will be enough. I have learned all the maths they teach at the school and a bit more, he added when Dr. Vale looked doubtful. So he's saying that I'm good in maths. I have studied everything in maths, so my teacher will be happy with me. So he will give me one reference letter so that I can take admission in mathematics for higher studies. Well, it's up to you, he said. I doubt if it will come off, but I can see you are not doing yourself or anyone else much good by staying here. How long would you like me to say you should stay away from school? Would 6 months be all right? Now, doctor is asking, shall I write that you should be away from school for 6 months? Oh, this is very kind of you, doctor. It's nothing. I have only just stopped being a student myself, so I know how you feel. Here you are. Dr. Vale handed him the certificate and best of luck. How much? How much means money. Albert Einstein is asking money. Nothing. If you have anything to spare, invite Yuri to a meal. He is a good friend of mine and yours too, I think. Albert had no money to spare, but he pretended he had and took Yuri out to supper. So now he took Yuri for evening meal. Isn't it wonderful? He said after showing Yuri the certificate. Yes, it is fine, Yuri agreed. 6 months is a good period. This way, you won't actually be leaving the school. So, if the worst comes to the worst, you will be able to come back and carry on for your diploma. I'll never go back to that place, Albert assured him. I'm going to take this certificate to the head teacher tomorrow, and that will be the end of it. Now, Albert is saying, I'll just go to the head teacher and submit this medical certificate, and that's it. Don't forget to get a reference in writing from your mathematics teacher first, Yuri reminded him. Yuri is saying, first take the reference letter from mathematics teacher, don't forget that. Mr. Koch is the name of mathematics teacher, willingly gave Albert the reference he wanted. He was very happy with Albert Einstein and very willingly he gave the reference letter. If I say I can't teach you any more and probably you'll soon be able to teach me, will that be all right? He asked. So Mr. Koch is saying, shall I write in the paper that you are more intelligent than me? Oh, that's saying too much, sir. It's only the truth, but all right, I'll put it more seriously. It was still a glowing reference, and Mr. Koch made the point that Albert was ready immediately to enter a college or institute for the study of higher mathematics. So he was having that reference letter. I'm sorry you are leaving us, although you are wasting your time in my class, he said. It's almost the only class where I am not wasting my time. When mathematics teacher said that you were wasting your time in my class, so he's saying, sir, only your class was there where I was not wasting my time. But how did you know I'm leaving, sir? You wouldn't have asked me for this reference otherwise. I thought you would wonder. There's nothing to wonder about, Einstein. I knew you were going to leave before you knew yourself. Albert was puzzled. What did the teacher mean? He soon found out before he had a chance to ask for an interview with the head teacher. He was summoned to the head's room. Now, see, student, as he was planning to go to head teacher himself, before he could do that, the head teacher summoned him, called him by himself. Well, it saves me the trouble of having to wait an hour or two outside, he thought. So he is saying, oh, thank God he himself called me, otherwise I could have waited for 1-2 hours outside his office. He hardly bothered to wonder why he had been sent out, but vaguely supposed he was to punished again for bad work and laziness. So he thought the teacher will punish me for the laziness. Well, he had finished with punishments. I'm not going to punish you, the head teacher said to Albert's surprise. Your work is terrible. I'm not prepared to have you here any longer. Einstein, I want you to leave the school now. Oh my God. So now the head teacher himself said, Albert Einstein, that you are not doing any good here. You can't study here. I think you should leave the school. Leave school now? Repeated Albert, dazed. That is what I said. You mean, said Albert, that I am to be expelled? So he was happy internally, but he was not showing. So he is telling to head teacher that you mean that I am expelled. You can take it that way if you wish, Einstein. The head teacher was not mincing words. Mincing words, playing with words or mixing the words. He is very clearly saying the simplest thing will be for you to go of your own accord. Accord, willing. And then the question won't raise. The headmaster himself want him to get out of the school. But, said Albert, what crime have I committed? Now, though he himself wanted to leave the school, but now he wanted to know why head teacher is asking him. So he is saying, what crime have I committed? Your presence in the classroom make it impossible for the teacher to teach and for the other pupils to learn. You refuse to learn, you are in constant rebellion and no serious work can be done while you are there. Now see, student, what kind of student he was. Albert felt the medical certificate almost burning a hole in his pocket. Burning a hole, it means that medical certificate was now useless. Why? Because the teacher himself expelled him from the school. I was going to leave anyway, he said. Then we are in agreement at least, Einstein, the head said. For a moment, Albert was tempted to tell the man that what he thought of him and of his school. Now, Albert thought that I'm just leaving the school. I should tell this man what I'm thinking about him and about his school. Then he stopped himself without any other word, holding his head high. He stalked out. He was not sad, head high. He stalled out. He came out of the office. Shut the door after you, shouted the head. So, Head said, shut the door, office door. Albert ignored him. He walked straight on out of the school where he had spent 5 miserable years without turning his head to give it a last look. He even didn't bother to give the last look to the school. He couldn't think of anyone he wanted to say goodbye to. Indeed, Yuri was almost the only person in Munich he felt like seeing before he left the town. He had come to hate almost as much as the school. Elsa was back in Berlin and he had no other real friends. So, in that city, only Yuri was a man, a person, a boy whom he wanted to meet last time. Goodbye and good luck, said Yuri when he left. You are going to a wonderful city. Which city? Milan. I hope you will be happier there. These are the words of his best friend Yuri, that goodbye and you are going to a beautiful city and I hope you will enjoy there. So, student, this was the chapter Albert Einstein at school, how he tried his best to get out of the school, how he manages a false medical certificate, but at the last, the head teacher himself expelled him because he is saying that in your presence, nobody can, teacher can't teach, and students can't learn. So, I hope you understood this chapter.